All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and great glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachak, Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and salutations to the elect pushing this truth to the four corners of the earth in truth and in sincerity. All right, it's your brother Yaquab. I'm coming at you with another quick lesson, and this is going to be like a news update. All right, not too long ago, Trump came out and said that the deadline that they gave Russia, a 50-day deadline to come up, to the table and make a deal with the United States, has now been decreased to 10 to 12 days. And if they don't come and make that deal, then there's going to be sanctions and possibly secondary tariffs, so forth and so on. Not just that, whoever makes deals with Russia, like buying their oil, like China, India, Brazil, the BRICS nations, he's going to be hitting them with 100% tariffs. All right. Now, to get on the tariffs real quick, the tariffs, he only struck about, out of 200, he only struck about 4 to 5 deals. I think he just made a deal yesterday too. Out of 200 deals that he was supposed to make before July 7th, he only made about 4, all right, to 5. Right? So this is why he extended that deadline to August 1st, and he's trying to, threaten everybody to hurry up and make a deal. Or they're going to be hit with sanctions. And the sanctions ain't nothing but a tax that the American people got to pay. You see, when these importers get these shipments and they got to pay that tariff or that levy or that tax, because there's all a tax, despite what they want to call it. So when they buy those products, they got to increase the price in the grocery stores in order to make their money back. So if all these tariffs are getting thrown around, then guess what? These importers are going to start buying less. You're going to have fewer items in the stores with greater prices. You see that? So, hey, he's talking about hitting everybody with these tariffs. Hey, it's really just going to affect the American people, the American economy. It's going to affect their economy too, but it's going to affect the American economy too. And we're going to see a lot of things start to happen with these tariffs. All right. Ecclesiastes 12, 1 through 4 comes to mind. And the door shall be shut in the streets. All right. When the sound of the grinding is low. And I'm loosely quoting that. What's the sound of the grinding? It's talking about work. All right. You know, Jake talk like that. Hey, what you been up to, man? Shit, I've been on my grind. I got 2 jobs. That means that what? Jake been working. He been out there, focused working. So, hey, that's what it reminds me of, getting on these tariffs. But that's what he's threatening. All right. Now, Putin comes out and says what? Hey, you basically ain't doing anything good. Only thing you're doing with each threat that you're throwing out, you're bringing us closer and closer to war. All right. Now you have the American people even waking up saying, hey, man, this might be bad. Yo, Trump tripping. Yo, we might be going to war, man. He's starting beef with the world, damn near. Now he's starting with Russia, giving them an ultimatum, a deadline and shit like that. They just said, hey, man, giving us a deadline like that. What is one of one of the Russian, how would you say it? Like Senate, one of those important people over there said Trump needs to realize that this isn't Israel and Iran. This is Russia you're talking about. And it's right. All right. This isn't you going over there and picking on, the Afghanistan people and also, the Iranians, people with a significantly weaker military than you. You're talking about somebody who has the world's biggest nuclear weapons, has actually, I believe, a better air force than you. And it has special forces, so forth and so on. This isn't going to be a cakewalk. You just can't threaten them and make them bow down to you like that. But anyway, we're seeing this go on right now. And, hey, war is prophesied, in the scriptures, Eventually, there isn't going to be any room for a deal to be made anymore. All right? It talks about that in Isaiah chapter 13. When the Lord says he shall stir up the Medes against them, they shall not regard gold nor silver, which is getting into what? You're not going to be able to pay them off. They're not going to be willing to come to the table anymore and to hash a deal out anymore. All right. As a matter of fact, let's get that before we play this video. It's Isaiah 13 and 17, and we read. Let's start with 16, and we read. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled and their wives ravished. Right, because that's how bad it's going to get out here in America very soon. There's going to be no jobs out here. People are not going to be able to find ways to feed themselves and, get any water, find things to drink. So what they're going to do, they're going to start spoiling houses, man. Breaking in houses. Talks about that in 2 Ezra 15. People shall spoil each other's houses. Why? For famine and great tribulation. Loosely quoting it. So you see that same thing right here. It says, and their wives ravished. That means, grape juiced, man. You see that? Look at the movie The Road. You'll see that jump off of the page. 17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them. And this isn't talking about Japhet. This is actually talking about Russia right here. All right. The Edomites are in the land over there right now. Right. So this isn't talking about the actual Medes. All right. Which shall not regard silver. As for gold, they shall not delight in it. Right. See, they're getting to the point where they're not going to be willing to come to the table and make a deal with America anymore. You see, it says they shall not regard silver or gold. All right, just get Ezekiel 38, because the Lord also said that he was going to put hooks into Russia's jaws and turn them back into what? That spirit of hate in America. We see that happening today with America using Ukraine as a proxy. All right. You have America saying Iran better stop using proxies. Each time that a proxy like Houthis, Hezbollah, and Hamas, which are proxies of Iran, each time that they shoot off a missile or hit something, then he's going to count it as Iran doing it because it's Iran's proxies. But at the same time, he's using Ukraine as a proxy. He's giving them weapons, which you're about to see him admit, giving them weapons, funding them, giving them millions of dollars. Slocky. Right, so you're using them as a proxy, giving them long-range missiles to strike deep into Russia. So now you having things that are getting done over there in that war that wouldn't have got done if it wasn't for the United States poking their nose into it. You see? So he's using Ukraine as a proxy too. So, hey, you got them doing that, using Ukraine as a proxy, funding them, threatening Russia, trying to put sanctions and tariffs on people who want to do business with them, so forth and so on. And it's getting to the point where they like, yo, bro, look, they about to call the deal off very soon. You see, this is Ezekiel 38 and 1, and we read, and the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against them. Right. That land used to be, have Japhet in it over there. But you see the Edomites in today, them Russians. All right. But they've been pushed out by the Edomites. And now who is in that land today is Esau, or the Russians. Right. It says the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against them, and say, Thus saith Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, behold, I am against thee, O God, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaw. Right. So what he's saying is putting hooks into the jaw is to wield them, to maneuver them. Like if you had a fish and you catch a fish, that hook goes into his jaw, so it can be moving top speed in the opposite way towards you. But what? As soon as you pull that fishing rod back and you yank that line and you start reeling it in, guess what? It's going to make a complete 180 your way because you got the hook in his jaw. So the Lord says it's going to take his hooks and turn Russia back into what? That Soviet Union spirit, that spirit of hating the United States, right? And I will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. You see? Watch this. I just want to read this right here. 5, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them handle, Slakia, all of them with shields and helmets. Right. Persia is what? Iran. Iran changed its name from Persia to Iran in 1935. So they're strong allies, man. They've been allies back since the Soviet days. All right. So they're not just friends. No, they're very strong allies, man. Russia and Iran, or Iran. I've been calling it Iran for a long time. The pronunciation is Iran. You know, and we see Russia being an ally to Iran over the years, man. You know, funding them, giving them their proxies, weapons, so forth and so on. So we see them being a guard to these little nations, which it gets down to say in the 7th verse. But let's hop into this video. I gotta hop in traffic, get on this plantation in a second.
Developing news coming out today as we're hearing that President Donald Trump has made an announcement regarding the Russia-Ukraine conflict, to which Russia in just the past hour has responded and said this is going to lead to escalation, not between Russia and Ukraine, but between Russia and the United States, which could lead to war. Now, I'm going to share with you the latest video footage, the headlines, the articles, so you can see it for yourself. Take a look with me. Coming out just in the past 30 minutes, Russian ex-President Medvedev says Trump's Ukraine ultimatum could lead to war. Each new ultimatum is a threat and a step towards war, not between Russia and Ukraine, but with Trump's own country, Medvedev.
Slovakia, that was Russia's ex-president, Slovakia.
Medvedev says the United States is being threatened with war by Russia. Now, Trump sets a new deadline. This is what has sparked all of this conflict. You can see this coming out in just the past hour. It has been updated today, July 28th, 2025. Trump sets a new deadline of 10 or 12 days for Russia to act on Ukraine, saying you must put an end to this war and now. And take a look at this coming out just 42 minutes ago. So again, to clarify, this is breaking news coming out today, July 28th. Zelensky has praised Trump for a clear stance in a shortened deadline for Russia, as he is saying it is time to end the Russia-Ukraine war. The 50-day deadline has come to an end. It is now going to be 10 or 12 days. And he's saying, get it done, or there's going to be consequences. And Russia already responding in just the past hour today, and they are saying you could be leading the United States into war. Man, let me know your thoughts. I'm going to cover for you the video footage and the articles so you can see it for yourself. But what do you think we are going to be going from here? Is the United States going to be entering into war? If you think so, put war in the comments. If you think we're going to be able to stave it off and avoid and come to some sort of negotiation, peace deal agreement, put peace in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. But let's go ahead and get right to it so that way you can see it for yourself. And if you appreciate the updates, the breaking news coming out, I'm going to put it on the screen, read right from it. I hyperlink all the sources so you can see.
Right, there is going to be no peace. All right? No peace. There's going to be no justice, no peace. All right? I just brought it out in Isaiah 13 that eventually, the deal-making stage is going to be completely over. All right?
The dates, where they're coming from. If you appreciate that, before we dive in, take a quick second, hit that like button, that thumbs up, helps out the channel a ton while we're live. I appreciate it. Now, in addition to that, to stay up to date, it's totally free. Why not hit that subscribe? A hedge against you for .com, and they're going to be able to help you out. And we're going to be seeing where we go from here. And Russia is saying the ultimatum that you are putting on us, this is going to take us to war. And I'm still seeing war pouring into the comments. People saying we are about to enter into war. We will see. Let's take a look at the video footage.
Russia moved up the deadline. It's now 10 or 12 days. Is the sanction the same that you're going to slap a 100% tariff on anybody who does business with Russia?
So what I'm doing is we're going to do secondary sanctions unless we make a deal, and we might make a deal. I don't know. You don't know. It's we've done so many peace deals. This is the one I started out with, and I know President Putin called me. He wanted to know if I could help him with Iran. I said, no, I don't need your help with Iran. I need your help with Russia. And so that's the one deal that continues to linger. And we're losing 5,000. They're losing. I'm not losing. You're not losing. But 5,000 Russian and Ukrainian kids a week are dying. And that's not mentioning the people that are dying also in towns where, he's lobbing missiles into certain towns like Kiev. And he's got to make a deal. It's too many people are dying. It's a really bloody war. And the 5 now, they're really telling me that number is obsolete. It's like 7.
That's terrible.
So you have 7,000 Russian and Ukrainian soldiers dying every single week for no reason whatsoever. So you would think, based on common sense, you would think he'd want to make a deal. We'll find out.
Okay, publicly, have you had any other Ukrainian channels conversations with Russians reiterating this?
In what?
Reiterating this new pressure and deadline.
We're going to have you're the press. I'm reiterating it to you. I'd say 10 to 12 days. I'll announce it probably tonight or tomorrow. But there's no reason to wait. If you know what the answer is going to be, why wait? And it would be sanctions and maybe tariffs, secondary tariffs. You know what a secondary tariff is. And look, the Russian economy, I don't want to do that to Russia. I love the Russian people. They're great people. I don't want to do that to Russia. But this thing, they're losing a lot of Russians. They've lost 1 million Russians. And that's the, sons. That's the sons and daughters of Russian families. They leave the house. They go, bye, mom, bye, dad, and then they get blown away. And Ukrainian, too. Look at Ukraine. It's a disaster what's happened there. But it continues to go on. As you know, we made a deal where the European Union is essentially involved, but it's NATO, and we're supplying weapons to NATO. NATO's now paying because the United States, because of Biden sent for $350 billion, the European nations are in for about $100 billion. Should be the opposite way, by the way, because we have a big ocean in between. Should be the opposite way. But I think that eventually something's going to happen. It should happen fast. So many people are dying. When I settled out with Congo and Rwanda, they lost almost 8 million people. And it just made so much sense. And if I didn't get involved, they wouldn't have done it. They weren't even thinking about settling it. It was just going on forever. And nobody could go into those territories because they'd get killed. They'd get killed. And now they have here's a whole different ballgame. We settled it. This is one that should be settled. Russia, Ukraine. This is one that really should be settled.
Mr. President, Scotland's First Minister has today set out his plans for a second referendum on Scottish independence. Can I get your reaction to that as someone with deep ties to Scotland? So, Prime Minister, can I also get your thoughts on that? Yes, if you do win the majority in next year's election, then they have the right to.
So there you have it, you guys. Now they're switching to something else, but I wanted to stay focused on what is happening right now with these threats for Russia and the United States. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Now, this is breaking news, as I mentioned, coming out today, July 28th. This article coming out on the response that Russia has already given. So in the past couple of hours, we saw Trump make this announcement, but now we're already seeing the response coming out. Let's go ahead and take a look here. As it says, Russian ex-President Medvedev says Trump's Ukraine ultimatum could lead to war. And this is the one that has just come out today. You just saw the video footage. Each new ultimatum is a threat and a step towards war, not between Russia and Ukraine, but with Trump's own country, the United States, Medvedev says. Now, this article says former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev said on Monday today that U.S. President Donald Trump was playing the ultimatum game with Russia and that such an approach could lead to war involving the United States. Each new ultimatum is a threat and a step towards war, not between Russia and Ukraine, but with Trump's own country, Medvedev wrote in a post on social media. Medvedev, deputy chairman of Russia's Security Council, also said Trump should remember that Russia is not Israel or Iran. Wow, let me know your thoughts. Getting very aggressive with the tone and saying you're not messing with the Middle East. You are threatening Russia. Trump said on Monday today that he was disappointed in Russian President Vladimir Putin's failure to end the war in Ukraine, and that he was reducing the deadline to agree a peace settlement from 50 days to 10 or 12. And you just saw the video footage on that. We're also going to be looking at some more commentary on that here in just a second, some video footage. Also on Monday today, Medvedev said a framework trade agreement struck between the European Union and the United States was anti-Russian, likening it to a de facto ban on buying Russian oil and gas. The U.S. struck the deal with the EU on Sunday, yesterday, imposing a 15% import tariff on most EU goods. Now, Ursula von der Leyen, president of the European Commission, said in a statement afterwards that the agreement would help the bloc fully phase out Russian fossil fuels in favor of American alternatives.
That's a guys right there. They're really trying to collapse this economy to bring forth this new economy. All right. And they're laying down the groundwork right now with the Digital Act. The reason he's putting all these tariffs on these nations is, he's killing multiple birds with one stone, but he wants to collapse this economy. All right. So he can bring in the solution, auto IK, a problem reaction solution. But anyway, if you want to watch the rest, there you go. Breaking Russia says Trump's threats will lead to U.S.-Russia war. I got to hop in traffic, get on this road and head to the plantation, handle a few things. So I hope it was edifying. And with that, let me say shalom.